And we should be live. I always say should be. I know I don't do live streams very often, but I always say should be because you click that button and until someone kind of confirms that you are live, you're just sitting there going, I know it says I'm live, looks like I'm live, but am I actually live? So that's always the interesting one. So hopefully someone can tell me if this is coming through, and obviously the quality and the sound and the video and just everything. It took us some doing to kind of get everything working as it should. Not live. Well, I might as well give up now then. Might as well just be gone and leave it at that. But yeah, hopefully the video and the audio is good. I'm planning to potentially buy some stuff that's going to make live streaming a lot better in the future in terms of the capture card. Because we did have plans, but then plans kind of, I guess, completely went out the window. We were looking at having an overhead cam as well as obviously a main cam in the past. If anyone's seen any of our live streams, then you will find that we have like the main cam. Then we have like another one just off to the side. Then we have actually experimented with a top-down one. But yeah, it doesn't work when you want to do it at the resolution and the frame rate that you want to do it at. So buy more Elgato lights. Do you know what? We're only actually using one Elgato light. We have a single key light here. Other than that, we've actually positioned more lights. I can barely see the camera, but we've got Aperture, I want to say Amaran 200Ds, and they're at 50%. And straight away, just looking that way, I've got one here, and one there. I feel like maybe we need another one there and then sort of crank them all down. But it is bright. It is extremely bright in here. Hopefully it looks good. Hopefully everything's in focus. And hopefully you guys are going to kind of, you know, see worth from this live stream. Because we don't tend to do live streams that often. So when we do, I always like to try and do it a little bit special. Do something a little bit different. And that's kind of the plan behind everything today. So, so welcome. I can see a few kind of familiar faces. Obviously, if the live stream gets too nutty, we may have to slow down the live chat and everything. But hopefully everything goes well, because this is live, this is unscripted. That's generally how it goes. We've also got a rep from Azus here. He's clearly seen what my plans are. I haven't told him anything. I want to put that out there. I haven't told him that I'm using Azus stuff, but obviously he's seen the thumbnail, so he knows there are some Azus parts in here. But no one actually knows what the case is, because the case only actually lifted on the NDA about 3 minutes ago. So yeah, it's all kind of a little bit hush-hush, but it's kind of cool because the case is actually really, really interesting. So, yeah, lots of stuff going on here. We will get to the building kind of as soon as physically possible. I've got all the parts down here. For anyone who likes mini eTeknix stuff, I guess without compromising, then this is going to be the build for you. Because it's probably one of the most extreme systems you could build right now, regardless of money. But when you look at it, it's just going to look like your bog standard kind of PC. So hopefully everyone's excited. And yeah, there's nothing from Corsair here, nothing at all. Yeah, I want to give a little bit away, but not too much. So should we get straight into it? I have stopped work, so let's see the case. See, now I kind of feel like I should potentially make you wait to see the case, because that's the important bit. Because I really, really like it, even though it is very, very simplistic and completely different to what kind of any other brand is doing right now. So, yeah, that's the interesting part. So I kind of feel like I'm going to make you wait on that. I mean, Matt's got it. It is from Fractal. So let's have a look, see what we've got. So straight away, I know some people are going to be team red, some people are going to be team blue, but right now, the fastest, the most ultimate gaming processor on the market is this, which is the Core i9 13900K. So that's what we're going to be using. You have got 32 threads in that one processor through a combination of efficiency cores and, of course, performance cores. Just got the notification. It's not too bad. 6 minutes in, we'll take that. So yeah, sorry Tom, but I'm gonna keep you waiting for the case. But yeah, we're gonna go 13900K. The only thing I'm potentially worried about at the moment is this is going into, let's call it a small form factor build, mini ITX. This does have the ability to go quite warm during gaming. So we are restricted with the cooler we can use as well because of the size of the system and everything. So that's going to be a very, very interesting one to kind of see where things go. But i9-13900K, it had to be. At the moment, Intel are still the market leaders when it comes to gaming processors. So I wanted to kind of make the system, I guess, typical of what the average consumer would buy. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. Some people like AMD, some people like Intel. I don't want to start up the whole kind of, you know, this team's better than that team, but we're going with i9. Right. Memory. Because we have got an i9 Intel processor, we can go a little bit crazy with the memory. So we are. It's as simple as that. We're going to go with G.Skill Trident Z5 RGB. This is DDR5, but with a difference, because this kit right here is 6800 megahertz. So not for the faint-hearted, two 16 gig sticks, 6800 megahertz, CAS latency 34. So this is pretty extreme stuff. And the reason why I've gone with Intel again is I know it should be able to run this with no issues whatsoever. Whereas AMD can be a little bit, let's say, fickle when it comes to memory compatibility in terms of fast memory and higher capacity. And it's got RGB. So obviously with RGB, we have got, you know, at least 10-15% more frames per second, which should be, you know, fantastic for what we're trying to achieve here. Now, we have got some other things. We've got some thermal paste that we're going to need. Not your NTH1. I have got a little bit of a frog in my throat. Now, I wanted to make this kind of all-out, ultimate. It should be everything, right? This should be, as the title of this video suggests, the ultimate sleeper gaming PC build. So we have got the fast memory. We've got the latest processor. What were we going to do about storage? I mean, you know, we could have put in a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte Gen 4 drive. I knew I wanted to go Gen 4, but I knew 1 terabyte wasn't enough and 2 terabyte wasn't enough. So instead, we're going with 2 4 terabyte drives from Sabrent. Yeah, if the board would have taken more, I would have put more in. I've actually got 4 of these drives. So we could have put 16 terabytes in if we went with a different board, but being mini ITX, we are a little bit restricted. So we've gone with 2 4 terabyte drives. So we've got 8 terabytes worth of storage. We could RAID them or we could just have them as separate drives. Haven't quite decided where we're going with this yet. This is going to admittedly be quite a lengthy live stream. So maybe we will end up RAIDing them. I don't know. I'll see what you guys think and what you actually want to do with it. But we have 8 terabytes of blistering fast storage. So these are the Sabrent Rocket 4 Pluses. They were at the time of me getting these, the fastest Gen 4 drives from Sabrent. They have now got the new ones, which has slightly different NAND, slightly different controller. But these are, yeah, pretty intense. One is plenty, but wouldn't be ultimate. No, exactly. We've got 2 slots, so why wouldn't we fill it? Same with the memory. The board has got 2 slots, so why wouldn't we fill it? So, let's talk about the motherboard, because I know there is a guy from Asus here, so, you know, I've got to keep him on side just a little bit. We have got this. This is the ROG Strix Z790i gaming Wi-Fi. So, mini ITX motherboard, the latest iteration, and this has got absolutely everything you can think of. Obviously, we've got support for our i9-13900K. We have got, I guess you could argue, a little bit of future-proofing there when they come out with like the KS, which is going to come if you really wanted to go down that route. But, you know, the way that things are at the moment, this is the creme de la creme. Mini ITX, it's got 2 DIMM slots, so we're going to populate that. It's got a single X16 slot, which will put our graphics card in there, which you probably saw from the thumbnail, what we are going to use. If you wanted to overclock, you can. This has actually got 10+1 power stages, rated for 105 amps each. So we've got 10 for the vehicle, 1 for the SoC, 105 amps each. So even for a mini ITX motherboard, you've got a lot of power behind that processor. What else has it got? M.2 Gen 5, so you have got a little bit of future-proof in there for when Gen 5 devices do come out. It's got dual Thunderbolt 4 as well. So this is another reason why I chose this. Because of the type of build that we're doing, kind of feel like it would fit perfectly within your living room. Or, you know, as a gaming, living kind of thing. It doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. There is no RGB on it apart from this memory. So having dual Thunderbolt 4 means you can connect into it. You could use it as a game server as well as something else, so you can connect it up for your house. There's, yeah, lots and lots of things that are going on with it. Other than that, obviously it is Z790, so we do get USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2, and all that other kind of good stuff. That's probably enough about that, right? I know you guys want to see the case. The funny thing is, I'm kind of like leading down this road of, you know, keeping the case all secret. When you look at it, you're like, huh. Because it is really, really simple looking. But I'm hoping you're with me with the whole kind of sleeper build and where I'm going with it. So there is that. Someone thinks the sound is a bit low. Does anyone else think the sound's low? I can turn it up, but obviously if it's only one person, then there's no point in me doing that. Let's talk about power supply. So this is where the Asus rep is going to get, you know, really excited, because I'm using this. This is the power supply that arrived yesterday, I think it was. I think it was yesterday. This is the Asus ROG Loki SFX-L 850 watt platinum. Now, if anyone doesn't know what SFX is, you've got ATX, then you've got SFX-L, then SFX. So this is SFX-L. So it is a smaller form factor power supply. This is their latest one. You may remember they had the Thor. Now they got the Loki. You can see where they're going with the naming structure and everything, you know, Norse gods and Greek mythology and all that kind of stuff. Avengers. So yeah, 850 watt, which is going to be more than enough because we are going mini ITX. It is platinum as well. You will find with a lot of SFX and SFX-L power supplies, they are generally, because they've got to cram so much into a much smaller footprint, they are actually going down that route of having platinum, titanium, them sort of levels of 80 plus efficiency, just because they have to use better quality components, otherwise it will overheat and things like that, being in such a small space. But it doesn't just end there with this, because this is ATX 3.0 compatible, which that does mean it does conform to all the latest standards. And it also means that we get that wonderful little cable, so we don't have to use any adapters that could or could not, I want to make that clear, I want to be, you know, really upfront about it, cables that could or could not melt. Less said about that, the better. But I'm still working on some content with that, so maybe I'll do something later on. But as you can see, it is RGB as well, so it can be tied in with Asus Aura Sync, and it has a 10-year warranty. So pretty extreme stuff. Should we get to building, or should we look at the case? I'm going to leave it up to you guys. But not Tom, because Tom really wants to see the case. So I want to make him wait, but everyone else can vote. I guess we could start building. What should we do? Build, or should we have a look at the case? I'll let you guys decide on that. Oh yeah, another really cool thing with this motherboard is they've cut down on some of the features directly on the motherboard, because instead it has this hub which can be used for, it's got USB on there, you can control the volume, it's got little function buttons and things like that. So yeah, really, really cool stuff. Let's talk about the graphics card actually, then I'll get onto the case, maybe. Right, oh, actually, we do have the cooler. Now, this was the interesting part. Secufirm, so you know it's going to be Noctua. I needed something that was low profile. So, being the fact that I needed a low profile cooler, but I was a little bit worried because it is a 13900K and we know that they can be not notorious for like overheating, but getting warm quite quickly, because there is a lot of performance in a very small package. Ladies. So yeah, we had to go something. So I knew I wanted to go Noctua, so that's why we went with this, which is the, I always forget the name because it's not very well named, should we say, but I think it's the NHI X65, something like that. It's not the greatest name in the world, and it is beige, but the real reason I'm using it, there's two reasons. One of them is it's very, very small, so it fits in our case because it is very low profile, but the other one is it's the lowest profile cooler that I have that gives the most performance. We've used this on, we actually used this same cooler for all of our case testing, and it's really, really good. So I'm expecting good things for it, even in such a, you know, a small sort of case. Yeah, there are other options like Skyve or Scythe or however you want to pronounce it, but this is what I had available, so we're going to go with that. Right, let's talk about the case. I feel like I've let Tom wait a little bit, but first, graphics card. So graphics card wise, we have to go big. We have to. It's just one of them things. We've got to do it. So we are going with the NVIDIA RTX 4080 Founders. I love the box more than anything. It's really cool. For anyone who hasn't seen it, this is my first Founders card since... I don't know, I've got a 2080 Super that I got from somewhere. I can't even remember where. But before that, the first one or the last one I was sent directly by NVIDIA was a 1080 Ti, which we use for a lot of our case testing on the written side of things on the website. But I was really excited when this came. Even the box is like all eco-friendly and made out of cardboard and stuff like that. But if we open it up, I mean, just the experience, it's like, ah. This is the Chungus. For anyone who hasn't seen what one looks like, the RTX 4080. I am going to put it in the motherboard at some point and just hold them together so you can appreciate that the motherboard is tiny in comparison to this. So yeah, RTX 4080 Founders. It's just a beautiful engineered card that has dust on it. I actually said in our video of this that if Apple were to make a graphics card, this is basically what they would have done. This is how it would look. It's just a work of art. You know, there's no screws on show anywhere. It's just really, really nice to look at. So RTX 4080, that's what we're going to be using. So, power supply, graphics card, motherboard, SSDs, 8 terabytes, cooler, memory, processor. It's case time. I really feel like I've built this up into something now. I mean, you can see it's quite a small case because I'm lifting it with one hand. I feel like I've built the case up a lot now, so I hope no one's disappointed because it looks really, really, really simple. But that is the whole point of this video. That everything going into this is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be ultimate, but the case is going to look sleeper, you know. And this is it. This is the Fractal Ridge. I know what you're thinking. It looks simple, potentially even too simple. It looks like them PCs that you see in doctor's surgeries or schools or, you know, anything to do with education or government or something like that. It looks really, really simple, but it's really not. There's actually a lot more to it. So this is actually like a fabric front. So it does let a lot of air pass through it, but also just, I don't know, it's almost like if IKEA made a computer case, you'd expect it to look like this with kind of a, you know, almost fluffy, furry kind of thing on it. But you can see, and hopefully you can appreciate just how small this is. And we're going to be putting a 4080 Founders in there and a 13900K. It's an interesting one. It has a riser cable inside, and I'll show you all of that. But the main thing I was concerned about was ventilation when I was going to do a build like this. But you can see there is a ton of ventilation there. There is monumental amount of ventilation on this side. There's even more on this side. And then there's even more on this side. And then obviously on the back, we have got some ventilation as well. And then we've got this whole panel on the front. So they really have thought about how they want to sort of do things, how it's going to be ventilated, is it going to get enough airflow, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to ruin it because the fans that come included with this, I think we've actually worked out we need to take out. So, yeah, I've kind of ruined that whole point. But yeah, it does look a bit like a speaker. Yeah, a bit like if you imagine if Sonos, you know, they could make a speaker like this and it would look like that. So the 4080 will fit. We have done our own testing, but we do need to take the fans out to do it. So that's why it's going to be interesting. That's why I said it's going to be a fairly longish live stream because I don't know how it's going to perform. Everything is, you know, this is Fractal, so it's good quality. When you take that panel off, this is kind of what it looks like inside. So they have really actually thought about the design principles quite clearly. So we actually have room here for SSDs, which are on these kind of toolless pieces. We've got two large, I think they're look like 140mm fans. Obviously we have room over here for power supply and things like that, all the room for the cables. It's pretty interesting to say the least. And as you can see, in terms of GPU space, it has got room for a triple slot graphics card. So if we take that off, everything's on these kind of notches and then it just pulls away. Again, nice solid panel. kind of wouldn't expect anything less from Fractal. And this is kind of what you're left with. So it's quite interesting. I believe if I get my handy dandy eTeknix toolkit, which is available on store.eteknix.com, as well as these flasks, which have a little digital readout on the top. It does come available in black or white. But I believe if we get our toolkit, which comes with everything you're going to need to build, repair and maintain your PC, I believe this panel at the top actually comes off. I'm just trying to figure out which way. I know Brandon took it off earlier, so I'm guessing it's these silver screws. Is it going to need cleaning regularly? I don't think it is, to be fair, but we will have a look at the front panel to sort of see how easy it is to remove the dust filter and what that's actually going to mean for, you know, management and things like that. Okay, no, this actually clips off, so I didn't actually need to undo them screws. There's 2 screws on this side, so I'll put them other ones back on. That's probably for removing the front panel. So we might still look at that, because then we can look at kind of what the opportunity is for keeping everything nice and clean. I know I am a bit mad, but I wanted to do something a bit different. You know, it might work, it might not. If it doesn't, it's a fun experiment. So there's the top panel, again, decent quality. And this kind of gives you access to where your graphics card's going to go with the riser, and access to the fans as well. It does take 140 or 120mm fans. So that's them two, and that goes with that. I'm just wondering if we take off some more screws, I believe we could actually remove potentially the front panel. This is just the better of, you know, intriguingment. Is that word, intriguing? I'm intrigued. I kind of want to take this apart and sort of see how much access we get to everything. There's another 2 screws there. Oh, no. Okay. All right. Didn't need to take them screws off either. I'm just taking screws off and just, yeah, what's the point now? Yeah, it's magnetic. How easy is that? So you don't even need to take anything else apart. You just take that off. Then it looks like there's a screw here, screw there. This is metal. So there's a few screws. You've got 1 here, 2, 2. And then I'm guessing that then comes off, and you can clean this. Yeah, not bad. Obviously we've got our power button there as well. It's got Type-C on the front, and also 2 other USBs, and then our audio jack as well. So yeah, good luck with the cable management. We should be all right with the power supply that we've chosen. I think we should be okay. It will be a good room heater. With the 13900K and a 4080, you're probably right. So yeah, let's put that back on. I'm amazed at how simple that is. It's just, you know, on it goes. Off it goes. Now I've got to put all these screws back on. I don't even remember which ones went where. But I'm guessing you can take more parts of this apart if you wanted to. So if you were modding or doing something like that, it's not, you know, your typical let's build a PC case that looks like a Dell kind of PC, but not add any extra functionality to it, if that makes sense. So I kind of like what's going on here. Yeah, you can take, just looking at it, where I've taken them screws out, you can take out some more here, and then this top part comes off, which I'm guessing is for getting your graphics card in if it is a little bit taller than most. But the thing that amazes me is, graphics card wise, I think this can house like 335mm graphics cards, which is a 4090. The 4080 is actually, the Founders is a little bit smaller. So yeah. Someone else saying the mic is a bit low. Maybe increase the mic. Okay, I can do that. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, is that any better? We've turned the mic up. Hopefully that's better. So hopefully that is better. If everyone can confirm that that is better. I'm actually going to take this panel off just so I've got a little bit more room to deal with it. I always like, whenever I'm working on cases, I always like to kind of strip them down, I guess, as much as I physically can, just to make my life a little bit easier. Sound is okay. That's cool then. So let's take this off. So we've got loads of cables here, obviously, for the front panel and things like that that are all cable tied up. Let's take them off. Really wish that we could get the overhead cam working, but it wasn't feeling it, so we've decided not to go with it. But maybe next time if I do get a better thing. Well, yes, Dan, we do have a Discord server. I'm pretty sure you have the link to it, so Dan can put that in there. So yeah, we do have a Discord server, and on there it's just the most amazing place to be. And if you fancy it, this Saturday we've actually got a Patreon game night. So if you want to support us, you can do so over at patreon.com/eTeknix, where you'll get access to a whole host of goodies, behind the scenes content, exclusive stuff. I'm actually looking to do live streams specifically for Patreons. So we've got all that kind of good stuff coming as well. So yeah, right, let's take this out. There's the link to the Discord in the chat. Sound is still low, better, but still low. I can turn it up again if everyone else thinks it's too low. Right, cable ties are out. Good job, Welshie. It'll be good to see you. Right, so let's get it out and put this to one side so we can actually work on the motherboard. So we've got a lot to do with the motherboard, and anyone who's ever watched me make any content in the past will know I like to build as much as I physically can outside of the case first. Just makes life so much easier when it comes to building. Carl, how are we doing? Sound is absolutely fine. So let's take a look at the motherboard. I've got to admit, I do like a good mini ITX motherboard, and it's quite funny because even though they've got smaller sort of this way and this way, they've actually got bigger in height because they've added these kind of triple stacker or double decker type kind of things on it that, you know, you can put your SSDs and stuff onto. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Right, let's see what we've got accessory wise in here. Oh yeah, this is that thing I was saying about. So to kind of shift some of the focus away from the motherboard, we now have this, which if I've got anything magnetic, yeah, it's magnetic, so you could literally like put it on the front of your case, and you have a volume dial, you have a flex key, which anyone who's ever had an Asus motherboard will know that the flex key you can basically program to do multiple things. So you could have it as a reset button, or, you know, straight into BIOS, I believe you can do all that kind of stuff. It basically gives you that flexibility. AIOC, you've got a button for that, so you can overclock basically just by pressing a button. Really simple stuff. You've got the button there, which I believe takes you straight into the BIOS. We then have a BIOS flashback USB. So you guys are probably aware there's normally a USB on the back. This has actually now been transferred to here, as well as a Type-C, which does 10 gigabit per second. We then have the Type-C, which comes from the board to this to give it power and functionality. Then we have microphone and headphone as well. So you haven't got cable kind of going down to your case if it's on the floor. You could just have it going straight to this. Really kind of cool little design, really. It's not wireless. It does plug in via a Type-C, which I've got to admit, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with Asus. It's got a Type-C connector for plugging in, but it can only go in one way because the actual cable has like a little notch on it. The whole point of Type-C is that it is reversible. It can go in any way. And then Asus were like, no, not doing that, doing our own thing. So, yeah. We also have, what do we have? We have a little black box. And in this little black box is a little PCB. Okay, so yeah, this is the PCB that actually goes onto the motherboard. This is a really cool feature, which are we going to need? We're not using SATA. It has got the front panel header on it though, so yeah, we are going to need that. I'll tell you about that in a second if I get a chance to put all this away. It's really cool what they've done here. So you know how I said things are getting bigger in height on mini ITX? What they've actually got here is two USB Type-Cs. What they actually do is they give you this little kind of daughter board, which then goes on like that onto them Type-Cs, and this now gives you kind of, you know, vertical functionality. So on here we have got the front panel header, USB headers, USB 2, two SATA ports. We've got a jumper, which I'm guessing is clear CMOS. We also have a sensor jumper, and then we've got, I don't know what the switch is for. Maybe switching BIOS? Maybe switching, no, it's got 3 different places. Might be PCI Express mode. Okay, I think that actually changes the PCI Express speed. So, pretty cool stuff. But like I say, everything's going vertically. Then on the board, we've got the Type-C, we've got USB 3.2 Gen 2. Loads of headers on the top for all of your fans. It's got an 8-pin connector with metal shielding on it, which they call Pro Cool. Gonna admit, Zeus, worst name ever. Why is it called Pro Cool? Just, I don't know, it sounds like, I don't know, it's just not good. And then, yeah, we've got all this functionality under here. On the rear of this board, it is pretty lackluster because it has it all on that hub. But we do have USB, HDMI, Type-C, Type-C again. These are both 10 gigabit per second. Then we've got another Type-C, which is 20 gigabit per second. We've got some more USBs at 10 gigabit per second and 2.5G Ethernet, as well as Wi-Fi 6E and a clear CMOS button. So pretty stacked, you've got to admit. Can that triangle thingy function as a DAC? Good question. And there is a guy in the chat right now who works for Asus, so I'm going to let him answer that for you. Matt, does it work as a DAC? I don't know if it has got, like, you know, an audio chip in it or anything like that. So I'm not too sure on that one. What else do we get? We've got our instructions. We get the little, yeah, fashion accessory. We have, I don't know what half of this stuff is. We've got some cable ties, zip ties. Little thermal pads and things like that we're not going to need. We've got our Wi-Fi antenna. We have... okay, that's pretty cool. So they actually give you a splitter for the USB as well. So this plugs into the USB and then gives you even more functionality. We're not going to need that right now. We have our Type-C cable for the little USB hub thing. SATA cables, we've got 2 of them. And that's about it. Oh yeah, then we've got the, this is really cool. For anyone who hasn't had like a recent generation of motherboard from Asus, they've got these little latches for the M.2. Don't know if we're going to need this one. I'll put it to one side. But instead of having to screw down the M.2, you actually have that. So, I don't know what this cable is. I think it might be a front panel header extension. So, we'll keep that to one side as well. Right. That is the motherboard. Let's get the processor in. Oh yeah, the case, I forgot to tell you, can be put vertically or horizontally, depending on kind of what you use. So you actually put this on the side of the case, screw it in, or the same with this, it kind of clips into place and then screws down. So you do get choices whether you want it that way or that way. Like I say, perfect for home theatre PC, that type of thing. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Try a full-size 4090. I reckon, have I got one that fits? My gaming OC won't fit because it's 3.5 slots. The Inno 3D we already worked out won't fit because it can only take a certain size thickness. I don't think I've got a 4090 that will fit. But the Founders 4090 is the same size as a 4080, so there is that. Right, let's get the processor in. Screws can be fiddly on the M.2, so this new design is really, really cool. Processor. Let's get that in. Plonk that down. And that can go over there. So, we're getting there. Processor is in. Let's get the SSDs in because we have got two of them. So we've got 8 terabytes in total. The case, for anyone wondering, is the Fractal Ridge. Just actually launched today. We have got a written review up on eTeknix.com if you want to go check that out. Jesus Christ, this doesn't want to come out. How are you meant to get it out? I never thought I'd get this far into the stream and then struggle with a box. Plug the drink dispensers. I was actually drinking out of a Yeti mug just because it's got a lot more in it, but I can drink out of this one. Out of the eTeknix Smart Thermos. Yeah, it's called a Smart Thermos because... You might see it better on the black one. Don't know if you guys can see. Actually comes up with the temperature that the liquid is inside. So this one's reading 22 degrees. This one, which has liquid in it, is reading 12 degrees. So I don't know how well you can see it, and if I get closer I'm going to lose focus. But yeah, 12 degrees. So yeah, pretty cool. These are available over on store.eteknix.com. We have them in black and we have them in white, as well as the eTeknix PC maintenance toolkit that I am using to build this PC with its extendable bits. So let's get the SSDs in, and then we can focus on the next bit. What's the price? I haven't got all the prices of everything we sell at the moment, but yeah, if you head on over to store.eteknix.com, then all of the pricing for every product is on there. We are as fair as we physically can be with the shipping. We don't make any money from shipping whatsoever. Just the cost of shipping has just gone astronomical at the moment. So also, if you are a patron, then you do get 10% off anything on the eTeknix store as well. Right, where are we at? Let's get this off so we can get our SSDs in. It's quite funny because I remember when Asus first started sort of implementing these designs of how they do SSDs and things like that, and they have got better and better over time. Like now it's got a little bracket on there just to give it that extra bit of strength. Also on here, so you can see we can fit our first SSD down here. Then we've got an addressable header and a normal RGB header as well. So they really have kind of thought of trying to get everything in and stuff like that. And then it's got this little slot down here, which is where this slots into to give us extra functionality for the other M.2. So this can actually take two M.2s, one of them being Gen 4, one of them being Gen 5, obviously backwards compatible as well. Yeah, there's loads of people in the chat already who have the thermos, the toolkit. We've got the eTeknix baseball caps as well, Stealth Edition, so all in black. What else do we have? We have other things. We have the thermos mug as well, which is pretty cool, available in black and in white. Probably actually going to start doing, yeah, anyone who buys anything from the store today, I'll give 10% off as a Black Friday thing. So yeah, I'd have to add a code, but anyone who buys it, I'll refund you 10% of whatever it costs you if you buy today. So yeah, right, let's get this open. I do love these. The Sabrent drives, they come in like these little cases. It just adds like an extra level of kind of premiumness to it. So there's our first 4 terabyte drive that we're going to be putting in. We have got 2 of these. DAC is on the board, Hive exclusive to the ITX board. There you go. Andy, I left my thermos at the meetup. Are you sure? This is like, so anyone who doesn't know, we have Patreon meetups. We do one a year. And everyone gets to come here into the eTeknix studio, have a little look around and stuff like that. And as well as camping in a field and just having, you know, a bit of a laugh, we do as well. So, yeah, that's another perk of obviously being Patreon, which a lot of people in the chat right now are Patrons. Second 4 terabyte drive. Correction, DAC on the Hive. There you go. So that little hub has actually got a DAC built into it. Right. 2 drives. 2 4 terabyte drives. This is going to be nutty. You're going to at least be able to fit 1 install of Call of Duty with Warzone included. So yeah, should be good. Right, let's get our first drive in. These have got what you could argue as a bit of a like heatsink to it. It's like thermal paper more than anything. But let's get the first drive in. Like I say, it has got this little latch. So you can put the drive down, and without having to screw down, you just move the latch over and it's in. It's not going anywhere. So that's the first one. And then we want to make sure that we peel the little protective layer off. Which is easier said than done when you don't have really long nails. There we go. So first one off. The meetup is good. I love the meetups, to be fair. Wasn't even my idea to do meetups or anything like that, but it works really, really well. So I'm happy. Everyone who goes to the meetups is happy. Job done. Right, let's screw that back down. Will the Hive be available for purchase separately? I don't think it is, to be fair, because I think it has to work in conjunction with like the ITX board, because I don't actually think it's available on any other board. That is so cold. I put water in that like an hour ago, something like that, and it's still, yeah, freezing cold. So that is in there. Let's get the secondary one off, so we can then get that one in there. I really wish they put like a little tab or something so you could pull this off without ripping everything else off. So that's there. Second drive, this one actually looks like it goes in up the other way. So have a look. Okie dokie. That one's in there. And we've got more thermal things to take off. It's quite weird how that connector actually comes in from like that angle. It's quite an interesting one, I have to admit. Yeah, never really seen anything like that. Normally it sort of goes in at an angle and then pushes down. But you know, if it works, then it works. Add mods, yep, definitely have to do one of the meetups. Just sign up, patreon.com/eTeknix, and then you can come to the next one, which I think we're going to be looking at April time, something like that. For anyone who can't actually make one of the meetups, we do end up live streaming as much of it as we physically can to other Patreon members. So let's get that screwed in. And then that side screwed in. That is fully sandwiched in there, I've got to tell you. Like, there's no room for heat to escape at all. It's almost bulging out the thermal pads out the sides. So yeah, for those who dare. That is well and truly in there. It's a 69 configuration. Yeah, pretty much. One went in that way and then another one went out in that way. So yeah. Yeah, I think I'm caught up with the chat. Right, that is that part of it. Let's get the cooler prepared as much as we can. Now, anyone who's ever used a Noctua cooler before will be more than aware of the Secufirm way of mounting, which is just everyone should use it. I really wish Noctua would just let other brands use it because it just makes sense. I'll send a free case, so no sign up to Patreon. I've got enough cases. I don't need any more cases. I'm looking around the room and there's just cases everywhere. Some of them are even Thermaltake cases. So, yeah, which is who AddMods works for. So no, I don't need any cases. Right, let's get this on. So simple. That on there. That on there. Our bracket on. Number 2, and then screw it down and screw it down. It really is that simple. Then we can get the next lot on. Let me just grab my other Phillips bit. So with the toolkit, all the bits are detachable. They are as well magnetic, so you can pick things up. It's quite strong actually as far as magnets go. So let's get that one on. And screw this down. Then we can look to get our 6800 megahertz memory into here. I mean, it's nutty. I'm just looking at this motherboard with an i9 13900K, 8 terabytes worth of storage. And now, what's going to be 32 gig of 6800 megahertz memory, and it's that small. It's just, yeah. The reason that I went with the reason that I went with a 13900K instead of a 13600K was we wanted to do this as the ultimate gaming PC, or the ultimate sleeper gaming PC. So like no holds barred, put everything into it, job done. So that's kind of, yeah, what we ended up doing. Welshie, you're a little bit wrong on the price in there. Patreon does start at £2.50 a month for the lowest tier, and then you sort of get more benefits and stuff as you move up. So let's put the memory in. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. We can put the thermal paste on, get the cooler on, and then you basically have, barring the GPU, although you could argue there is an iGPU on the actual processor, you could argue that you have a fully fledged gaming PC to a certain degree. But you've got a fully fledged PC, let's leave it that way. Yeah, I'm really interested in the temps as well as to what this is going to be like. So I think once it's built, I'm going to get Brandon in here and he can set it all up on the monitor and everything, and we can get rocking and rolling to see exactly what this can do. Because I'm not worried, I'm intrigued as to how well it's going to perform. So yeah, this is tight. Like, there's no motherboard left, pretty much. Imagine if I put a Noctua D15 on here. I don't want to use 6,000 megahertz memory. I've got 6,800. Right, that is on. Let's get this fan on. We've got channel fan, AIO pump. So that one, I'm guessing. Yep. The colour of the fan header is actually slightly different, so it kind of denotes which one is for the CPU. Not that it really matters, but obviously you will get an error come up on the BIOS saying no CPU fan detected if you don't do it. I mean, we could always, like, you know, clock this down if we really wanted to. So, you know, we have options. Right, let's get that onto there. This is ridiculous. The amount of power that is currently just sitting within this system and it just being that small. So let's get that on there. Ta-da! One fully fledged system. Should we put the graphics card in just so you can see the size difference? Honey, I shrunk the motherboard. Exactly that. So let's get the graphics card. I'm sorry, I'm trying to take this seriously, but I've got to do this. Right, so motherboard, graphics card. Oh, I had to do it. Look at that. I'm so fearful of this dropping because it's just kind of precariously. Someone want to take a screenshot of that? Look at me. I'm the motherboard now. That is just ridiculous. That is crazy. Graphics card, meet motherboard. Motherboard, meet graphics card. I cannot get over that. Yeah. So let's try and get that back out now. Oh, this is where I'm going to struggle getting it out. There we go. Oh. Do you imagine if I drop that? That's just like all of the money just gone. It is a big boy, definitely. Little undervolt and it'd be fine. No, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. You know, if temperatures get too much, we're undervolt it a little bit. Happy days. So for anyone who doesn't realise, who, you know, someone's just said this is, you know, only the 4080. This has got exactly the same cooler on it as the 4090. So the 4090 is actually the same size as this, as a founder's card. If we were to look at, I haven't got one in this room, it'll be in the other room, but if we were to look at an actual 4090 from an AIB, yes, it's a lot longer. This is 304 millimeters. The other ones are like 334, 335, some even getting close to 340 mil. I would have liked to have used, just to stick with the whole theme, an Asus graphics card, but Asus didn't send me a graphics card. So if everyone wants to shout at Matt in the chat, I'm not going to stop you. So yeah, the Asus ITX board with a 3090 mint. That is the one, isn't it? Look at me, I'm the motherboard now. I think that's the one. You're either strong or the graphics card is light. It weighs, I'm trying to remember, I think this one weighs about 2,300 grams, so 2.3 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds for anyone who uses it. It's not light. Not the heaviest one that we've got though. We have got an MSI Supremex 4080. That weighs 2.7 kilos, so 2,700 grams. Screenshot sent. Cheers, dude. Appreciate that. Right, should we get it into the case? It's still just, yeah, the amount of power in this right now is just ridiculous. So what we've actually got to do, we have got a few connectors here. Power, I'm not that fussed about right this second. I do want to make sure that I'm trying to get the cables as neat and tidy as I physically can, but it's not the be all and end all, because I'm trying to figure out the power supply. I think actually goes, yeah, down here. So yeah, if anyone wants to know about 4080s, we have actually got, we did a video on 5 different cards. So we had Founders, Gigabyte Gaming OC, Inno3D, iChill X3, which is an OC card as well, Palette Game Rock OC, and MSI Supremex. So we have got a video up on the channel. Definitely go and check that out. Obviously, we don't have to worry about rear I/O because there's that built in. I am going to do one thing though, just because I am an experienced PC builder. So I'm going to put the 8-pin EPS connector in now, just so I haven't got to try and get my hands in and sort of do that after. Has anyone done reviews on 6950 XT versus Nvidia? It depends on what against. We've done it against the 4090. We've got that in our charts and everything. So and 4080. So yeah, definitely go and check that out. You'll see 6950 XT versus 4080 and versus 4090. For the most part, yeah, Nvidia wins hands down. Maybe Asus will send me the graphics card. Maybe. What case is that? This is the Fractal Ridge. It's their latest one. Basically a bit like a HTPC type slimline, real kind of simple looking thing. But that's kind of the point of, yeah, what we're doing here. Wonder what AMD will bring. I'm really excited about the 7900 series. I think it's going to be good, definitely. Right, so we have cables. These are what come with the Loki. So you can see they're all individually braided. They've got like almost like a, I don't know, an oil on them or something. Like they're really sort of, it's hard to explain. Yeah, they feel good. Feel really, really good. So 24 pin. We are going to need an 8-pin, which is what I want to put on the motherboard right now. Do you think we will see 4080 AIB with a smaller, cooler design? Probably not. So the 4080 Founders, even though it's huge, is the smallest card that I had, and I had 5 4080s. So I don't think you're going to see any smaller. I just don't think it's really possible in terms of cooling design and stuff like that. Because people are trying to... Waxy, that's it. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, a little bit waxy, if anything, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If anything, it kind of shows a bit of quality, and it's not just, you know, your typical... I know why they've done it. It's so that the cable doesn't bunch up, the actual braiding, which you see a lot. If you look at certain power supplies where they don't put wax or anything on it, over time they bunch up and you just end up with like really loose braiding. So yeah, really, really nice. Right, let's put this on. That's the PSU end, that's the CPU end. Put it into the Pro Cool 2 connector. Worst name ever. The word you're looking for is moist. It really wasn't, but I'll take it. Right, let's put that over there. So, where are we at now? Let's get this into the case, I guess. So why are the 4080 so huge, and what will the 5090 be like? So the simple solution that I think when you look at graphics cards and things like that. So Nvidia were on Samsung's 8nm process node. They then moved to TSMC's, let's call it 4nm process node. It's called the 4N node. No one really truly knows, because Intel keeps saying that TSMC's whatever nanometer isn't true whatever nanometer. But let's call it 4 nanometer or 4N process node. By doing that, what they actually allows them to do is shrink down the die size, but then they go, right, we've now made this really, really efficient product. What can we do to beat the competition? Let's put more transistors into it and make it a really, really powerful product. So it's kind of 2 steps forward in terms of efficiency and then 1 step back. And they're always trying to do that. And obviously AMD and NVIDIA competing, they end up with a product that is just too powerful based on its size. So then it needs cooling. So then they have to put a large cooler on it. It's a bit like, the best analogy I can give you is, I live in the UK, right? So our cars generally are small engine, typically, you know, up to like 2 litre is the most popular. Then they put a turbo or something like that on it to get more power. In America, they have these great big 5.8 litre engines. Why do they have these great big 5.8 litre engines? Well, because, you know, they need the power of the 5.8 litre engine to give them that power or to give them speed and things like that. Why do they need that? Because the engine's so big. Why is the engine so big? Because it's 5.8 litre and they need all the speed and power. It's so counterproductive. Hopefully that made sense and I'm not just rambling on. Right, we have some connectors to get on as well. So we've got Type C, that's going to go that side. We also have our bog standard USB. That's also going to go that side. I'm just precariously like rotating the motherboard around in the case. We have power switch and power LED. I'm guessing then the power switch actually doubles up as a reset one because it doesn't look like there's a reset switch. Then we have HD audio. I don't even know where HD audio is. Where's the HD audio on this one? Okay. Don't tell me it's underneath. No, it's not. Anyone know where the HD audio is? That would be interesting. Let's try and keep up with chat anyway. Do you get a free generator for the NVIDIA 5090? You say that. The 4080 and the 4090 actually use less power than a 3090 Ti. So they have got more efficient. The 4080 is twice as powerful. This is what NVIDIA claim. Twice as powerful as the 3080 Ti while using 10% less power. So yeah. Yeah, anyone know where the HD audio connector is? Because I can't find it. And I kind of fear it's somewhere underneath all of this. So, yeah, I'm really confused. You'd expect the HD audio to be down here. It's where you would typically find it. But I can't see it anywhere. Where am I meant to plug this in? If anyone wants to look at the manual for the Z790i gaming, that would be great. Because I think I'm actually losing the plot and I might have to actually do the cardinal sin and look at the manual. Never thought I'd be doing this on a live stream. I don't even do this off live streams. I've actually lost the connector. Like, I can't see it on the motherboard anywhere. Have they hidden it that well? Got it. Right. Here we go. Never thought I'd be doing this. HD audio. Where are you? Okay. So where is it? It's like there is no HD audio. And I'm wondering if that's because of this Hive thing. Does it not have? No. It's not on the FPS2 card, the little daughter board thing. It's not under miscellaneous. There is no HD audio. Like, no. What? Okay, I'm royally confused. So if the man from Azus is still in the chat, I would love some explanation. M.2, SATA, USB, 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 addressable Gen 2. PCIe mode switch. Make sure I'm in the right one. Default. Yeah. Aura RGB. CPU over voltage. Power buttons. System panel. Thermal sense. There's no HD audio. I am shocked and confused, and I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, there's no HD audio. I am in shock. Shock. What that actually means, yeah, I do not know. What that means for people who actually want to utilize. This is tight. This is very tight. Okay. Clearly doesn't go in that way. That is so tight. How are you meant to get that in? It's not on the FPS card. I had a look on there. It's got front panel audio and USB and USB. It's not got the same spacing because it's got the little block. Yeah, it's not on the FPS card. Not on there at all. Right, I'm still trying to figure out how to get this in. You got to take that out first. Right, of course. So there is a riser card because of the graphics card and the way that it sits inside the case. So you actually have to take the riser card out first because obviously that then needs to slot into the motherboard. But yeah, I'm still confused that there is no HD audio header on the motherboard. I've had a look for the manual. Someone else has had a look for the manual and nothing. It's like the first motherboard I've ever seen without a HD audio port. So, take that off. That is an obscenely large PCB for not very much. So yeah, that is going to go into our motherboard, like so. Click that down. Now, this should go in quite swimmingly, I'm guessing. It's tight, I'll give it that. Very, very tight. Then we can screw that back down. Maybe they removed it thinking the hive would be used for front or... I guess so. I guess that is the point. Still a bit confusing. I mean, it wouldn't have taken up. There is space for it on the motherboard. So, yeah. It's an interesting one, to say the least. Right, I'll put that on after. Let's get the case screwed in. Sorry, let's get the motherboard screwed into the case. So yeah, it does look like they've removed the HD audio. So inside the box, you will need this, otherwise the graphics card won't actually fit in properly. So it's almost like a connector going into a riser. Then we've got all of our screws as well. So what screws are we going to need? I'm going to go with, I mean there's only 4, so I'm guessing that. I really wish that case manufacturers would stop using these and instead use resealable bags, because us media, we obviously have to put stuff back together again. Really doesn't help us when things aren't reusable, and it's worse for the environment. Not them screws. They don't fit. So let's go with these ones instead. So yeah, I guess that hive is meant to essentially take over for the HD audio, but yeah, just, I don't know, maybe doesn't quite sit right with me in terms of I would expect it to have that. And these are the wrong screws as well by the looks of it. Yeah, that's the wrong screw. We will get there. We will get the right screws. Right, let's try this one. I told you guys this would be a long stream. So for anyone who didn't believe me, there you go. there. I've got the right screws this time. Let's go with that one. Wow, that's a tight one to get in there. Luckily, I've got this screwdriver that, you know, these are, they don't even list what size they are, but they're a little bit thicker. The problem is there's screws here where they've given me like 4 of each, so you'd expect, being mini ITX, you're going to use them ones, because no way they're going to be used for anything else. And no, it's the one that comes with 8 screws instead. Right, motherboard is successfully installed. It's quite funny, I've got to figure out what the rest of these screws are for at some point. So motherboard is in. We can now look to screw the PCB riser back in, which is going to be fun because obviously now we have a cooler in the way as well. Luckily, in the PC maintenance toolkit, we have one of these. All audio functions on ROG Strix Z790i gaming Wi-Fi is supported through the Strix Hive. There you go. So yeah, right, let's screw that in. See how cool is that? Flexible. Gets to them hard to reach places. So yeah, that's how the motherboard works. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but just a bit different. Or this one might actually be a little bit tricky to get to. And it's not because of my toolkit, it's actually because of the Asus heat sinks on the M.2. It's got in the way. I can't screw it down. Asus, you failed me. And I really can't be bothered to take it all apart just to get one screw in. That doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference. So we're gonna go with that. Flexible like our nights out. We need a night out soon, Adam. Most definitely. You can take me out for dinner on thermal take anytime. Right. That is in. I'm saying it's in, so it's in. Right, HD audio. We don't even need you anymore. You can hide down there. I'm not saying this is going to look pretty, because I don't do pretty when it comes to cable management. We've got our great big... Why is that big? I do not know. But we put it on anyway. Worst connector in the world, I've got to admit. Is anyone with me? The USB 3.1 or 3.2 is just a terrible connector. Type C. That is in. And we put that down into there. Right, so we've got our power ready and waiting for the power supply. Got some fans over there. I feel like potentially it might actually be the wisest idea to do power supply in a minute. Just because of how much room that's going to take up. We can run our cables and we're good, kind of be, you know, good to go. Right, we've got power LED. That needs to go onto that header and power switch. So again, we're going to need our trusty thing on here, just so we can work out exactly where each header has got to go. So on this, we've got reset, no, power LED and power switch. So power LED is there and there. Done. And power switch is over on that one and that one. Doesn't tell you which way up it's got to go for the LED. Obviously the power switch doesn't matter because it is just literally open or closed. So yeah, that is that. Right, let's get this power supply in. I think is going to be the best bet, because that's the only thing I ever really worry about when it comes to small cases. Look at that, it's tiny. How cute is that little thing? Come on, look at that. That's beautiful. I'm liking that. 850 watt SFXL. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. We have got to get our motherboard in as well. I started doing all these cables and then sort of forgot. Is it better to have games and OS on one NVMe drive or separate one for Windows and one for games? These days, to be fair, you know, you could say put it on the fastest one to alleviate any bottleneck. When we do all of our testing, we actually use an external Asus caddy, and we put an NVMe drive in there. We actually run from that across USB Type-C. Works absolutely perfectly. You're not going to notice, you might notice a second or so if you went on a faster drive compared to an already fast drive in terms of load times, but that's about it. Once it's loaded, you know, it's not really going anywhere else. So I wouldn't worry unless you're talking, you know, from a hard drive or something like that. Jesus Christ. Yes, this is eTeknix 3.0, so therefore it does have a PCI Express Gen 5 connector. No adapters here. Jesus Christ, this doesn't want to go in. I might have to take the USB one out first, just to get this in, and then plug that back in after. There we go. There we go. Right. So we've got them two connectors, everything else. As long as it's out of the way of the fan, I'm pretty happy. So yeah, are they going to be making, Asus, are you actually going to be making a 1000 watt version of one of these? Obviously the tough one, not this, but if you are, that's pretty cool. I think Silverstone have already got a 1000 watt one. I've got to admit, the connectors need a little bit of work. They are very, very stiff to get on there. Which isn't, again, necessarily a bad thing. So, that on there, that on there. What else are we going to need? We're going to need our wonderful little 600 watt jobby. So we've got that. Even says PSU on one end and 600 watt on the other. So we can plug that straight in, so we don't need any adapters. Really are stiff connectors though, have to admit. Right, make sure it clicks in, because I think that's where a lot of the problems are coming from, shall we say, that people are having, because they're not plugging stuff in properly. Right, we're going to have to take this panel off as well, just so we can get to screwing in the power supply. So one screw there, one screw there, one there. So very similar to the other side where the graphics card is. It's just 4 screws by the looks of it. And that comes off. Yeah, and that gives us basically access to getting the power supply in. I don't think we're going to need anything else. We've obviously got, motherboard is powered through the EPS and through the 24 pin. Other than that, I think we're good to go. It's just this one for the graphics card, which we will feed through like so. This will sit down into place. Hopefully we can feed that back through and we are good to go. Back of the case looks clean. Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Right. Gonna admit, being ITX, it is a little bit fiddly to a degree. But once it's in place, you should be laughing. I don't think there's any ventilation there. No, so you wouldn't put the fan facing down, so it's definitely up the right way. So yeah, just got to screw it in now. Getting there, getting there. So the question is, once I've built it, do we want to see how it is when it's like all booted up and everything? Do you want to see what thermals are like? You need fingers like ET. You need a light as well. That's the other big issue. It is really, really hard to see. So yeah, people want to see what it's like when it's all booted up then, I'm guessing. Right, I've got 2 screws in. That's 2. The problem is all the cables that come from the front, so the USBs and things like that, all run past the power supply. I'm sure you could potentially, looks like there's some screws on here, take this bracket off, then it will give you kind of easier access, but I'm a little bit lazy, so I'm kind of just looking at it going, nah, that'll fit. Yeah, that'll fit. Wondering if... No, they don't. So there is a bit of a design flaw here. Sorry, Fractal, but there is. It's just quite interesting that the cables that come from the USB can't actually take them off. So you'd have to unscrew this PCB, which isn't the end of the world, but it does look like there's quite a few screws on it, just to be able to kind of really get to where you need to get to. Because one of the screws is directly underneath this USB and the other one's just off to the side on the other. So yeah, it just makes it a bit difficult. It's not the end of the world, but yeah. And yeah, I do agree, the cable combs, the 24 pin could be better. I don't think they give you cable combs, but I completely agree, could be a lot better. Yeah, I can't actually get these screws in. It's proving pretty impossible just due to the placement of the USB front panel. I'm still persevering. I will not be beaten. So yeah, can't get it in. There is another screw up there, but it's impossible to get to. I'm wondering if that whole... You're probably meant to, you know, and again, reading instructions might have helped, but I'm guessing you were probably meant to take out the bracket, install the power supply, and then kind of screw it back in. So, yeah, I've got 2 out of 4 in. Good enough for me. Right, graphics card. And I think while I'm doing the graphics card, I might get Brandon to come in to set up a monitor, keyboard and everything, tidy up a little bit, just so we're ready to kind of start doing everything. Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk could be an interesting one for sure. So let's get all that back in. Let's have a little look. See if I can get Brandon in here. So straight away with that graphics card, I can tell you, because we've done our own testing, the fans are going to have to come out, which means we are going to have essentially no cooling whatsoever other than what the graphics card and the CPU cooler are able to bring in on their own. Aha. I have a minion. We need to get a monitor sorted. Okay, and a keyboard and mouse.
Keyboard and mouse that's plugged in. And then...
Apart from the one that's plugged in, because I need that one. But yeah.
Oh, for that one,
yeah. Yeah, for this one. So yeah, so,
why that didn't occur to me.
So Brandon's going to look for that while I take the fans out so we can actually get the graphics card installed. Did you try getting it in with the fans, or just like realised it just, no, it's not going to happen?
I did try.
Okay. So speaking to Pete, who's done our written review, he actually said you could get the card in, but you would need some slim fans, which not many people make. I think the last ones he had were from Silverstone. So, you know, interesting that it can still be done. Just maybe not the perfect way of doing it. So let's get that in. Let's get these screws in so we don't lose them. And then we can look at getting the 4080 installed into here. What have we got? A mouse?
A mouse?
We have a mouse.
There is a keyboard behind you.
Is there?
Yes.
Oh, there's a mouse and keyboard there.
Yeah.
Oh, that mouse is a little bit
Dodgy.
Yeah. Right. So that is that. Now we can look at getting this graphics card in. So we need to put this in first, don't we?
Yeah, that's how I found it easiest.
Okay. So it's weird how they didn't just make a PCB with a bigger, like taller slot. You have to put that in as well. I'm guessing you had to take this panel off as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, you can strip this down quite a bit further, and we actually need to just to get the graphics card in. Skive, I always get confused because so many people call it a different brand. Skive or Scythe, depending on where you're from in the world, do slim fans as well. Yeah, I think they do. Silverstone do. It's quite funny. We have a wall of fans over there. We called it the Only Fans wall. For anyone who has seen the picture, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We have the Only Fans logo and then just a wall of fans. And I still have to take more off. And out of all of the fans I've got, which there's probably easily 100 fans there. Not 100 boxes, but each box, some of them have like 3 in and stuff like that. There's got to be, there's a lot. Yeah, we don't have any slim fans whatsoever. Do we?
I don't think so.
No. I don't remember seeing any. They're not that common, so.
They're more specialty.
Arctic Slims. I haven't worked with Arctic in so long. Right, that is off. So now we can look to get this graphics card in. This is going to look ridiculous. And I don't even care. Right, do we have to take all 3 out? Yes, triple slot in that. So we have a triple slot card. So we are going to take all 3 out. Which I kind of feels quite good. Like, if you remember cases that were similar to this, that came out in the last couple of years, they would have only had maybe 2 slots. So they have utilised the space in this very, very well. Right, that's out. Let's put the thing in. This looks ridiculous. Not even mad, but it looks ridiculous. I don't like the fact that the slot doesn't have the little locking latch. So kind of doesn't sit how you'd expect it to sit properly.
Where do you want this monitor?
Up on the corner of the desk if we can. 'Cause we're going to turn it around and show all the lovely people. Somewhat heavy. I mean, once it's screwed down on this back bit, it's fine. But it's just, yeah, it just doesn't. It feels a bit unnatural to kind of what you'd expect of something of this weight just kind of precariously sitting there. So that's in. Why did I put that cable that side? I want it the other side, don't I? Will it fit the other side, or did you have to do it from this side?
I did it that side.
This side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got less of a
Yeah,
hard
there's
bend.
like hardly any room. So obviously we do want to keep the bend as wide, I guess, as we physically can. Yeah, I couldn't on earth, for any reason, think why. Could you? No?
No idea what you're on about.
No, exactly. Yeah, definitely need some cable combs for these power supply cables.
Yeah.
It's just, it gets a bit...
We have some.
We do, but not for this
No,
thinner
that's-
cable. Especially with the 4 pins as well. They just kind of go wherever they want to go, as opposed to going where I want them to go.
We've got some eTeknix cable ties.
We do. We have eTeknix cable ties, which are also available on store.eteknix.com. But to be fair, I think that works. So we can get this back on now. Back on the inside or the outside? That went on the inside. That goes on the inside. That goes on the inside. Yeah, it's just trying to line them all up at the same time when I want to go different places. I can't remember which ones were silver and which ones were black now.
The black ones are on the fan side.
Fan side.
The
That side.
side that's you're facing is
Yeah.
black.
I knew what you meant. Why does that one feel like it's not in? Okay. It kind of brings it in as you do it. So yeah, get in there. Must be warm in there already as Andy's breathing heavy. No, I'm just completely out of shape. That's what it is. I drink too much and don't exercise at all. So that's why I brought Brandon in, so he can assist me. Right, so we have a monitor.
Yep.
I don't know how that monitor is going to be for the camera. Some monitors are really, really terrible at showing up on camera.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Famous last words. Famous last words.
It's relevant, Phil.
Did you get this bracket back on with the graphics card in?
Yeah.
Why is that not going down then? That is like, okay, you can, you just need to hold it. It's so tight. Yeah, the fan still spins. I'll chalk that up as a win.
Fits.
Adam, did you say drink? I'm in. Definitely, definitely. Yep, if it fits, it sits. Can you potentially make a little bit more room?
Certainly. You'll want that. That's the front door.
Why is that one not screwing in? I'm using the right screw. Okay, I just wasn't screwing properly. I wasn't screwing confidently enough. That's what it was. Because as we all know, we all need to screw with confidence. Mine's a Merlot. See, I'm a Pinot Noir person myself. They need to go in the power supply box.
You don't need those.
No, I don't need these. No,
Right.
no, literally this motherboard, 24 pin, 8 pin, and then obviously we've got the graphics card as well, and that's it.
Oh, that's true. I've not got any other
Like
driving.
3 cables. No, everything's M.2 because we have 8 terabytes worth of storage. It just sounds funny saying that. Although not as much as what our NAS is going to be. I am working on a 200 terabyte storage server for all of our video footage. Oh yeah, this motherboard doesn't have HD audio.
Yeah, I happened to listen in on the stream as
Yeah.
you were talking about that bit.
Yeah,
And
madness.
I started looking at the manual online.
Madness.
Couldn't find it.
This thing weighs a ton now. So yeah, this is what the graphics card now looks like inside the case. What is the main purpose of this small PC? To make a video about making a PC in a small case. I just wanted to build the ultimate sleeper build, basically. Which side is which? Do you remember?
Yeah.
That's for the other side. Yeah,
because
thought so.
you've got the,
Yeah, for the ventilation for the graphics card.
yeah.
Then this one still gives you some form of ventilation for the graphics card because you've got all this kind of paneling here. So that goes on like that.
Yes, indeed.
That side's down. No, that's wrong. Ooh. Trying to figure this out now.
It's kind of like it.
Is it that way?
Not yet.
No.
Like first time.
Did I? No, because I had a little notch here and there's no notch there. So it must go in from that side? No. Yes. Maybe. No, because there's a notch there and a notch there. I'm so confused. There you go. Who thought the hardest part of this would be trying to get this screwed in? So there's a notch there and a notch there, but there's not one there, but there is there, but there's not there. So it must be the other side. That's the same. Why am I so confused? I'm going to put the front panel on, which is magnetic.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
No? Yeah, it's really cool. Right. So why am I so confused with this? Like, I shouldn't be, but I am. Where does the other one go? Also, I've got some other screws to put back in.
Where's the thumb screw? Thumb screw goes at the back.
Have you figured it out yet?
I mean, that's the other side.
Top cover on back to front. Well, that's the weird thing. There's notches.
It is back to front, yeah.
What is?
The top cover.
This one?
Yeah.
Have I put that on the wrong way?
Yeah.
Ah. Ah. See, this is why I shouldn't do live streams over an hour long.
Thank you, whoever pointed that out.
That was Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
He's from a competitor. He's not from Fractal.
What?
I know. He just loves watching eTeknix content so much that yeah. So you're not a salesman who makes PC for customers. Nah, I don't have time for that. No way, no how. But yeah, that makes sense now. If that's on the wrong way, that's why the things didn't line up.
Yeah.
So yeah. I guess, you know, we're all human. We all make mistakes. I wondered when you would note it. You could have told me earlier.
To be fair, I didn't notice, and I'm the one that prepped this.
I already took this off once, so. Right. I mean, it fits better. What side were the silver fans?
Silver.
That side, right? Silver screws. I know what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah, the fan side.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I said that not that long ago. And then you questioned me, and I can't remember.
Right, so we're all set up?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah? Said that with so much confidence that I'm still unsure.
Keyboard and mouse down there, monitor's powered. Got a display port cable ready.
Woohoo! That screw in there.
The 4080 was available to purchase as you went live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you get one?
Yeah.
Ah. And that's clearly based on my review of it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yay. There you go. NVIDIA, if you're watching this, I've just sold a 4080 for you.
It was Founders too.
Yay. Happy
I got
days.
that very quick.
Happy days. Yeah, you could definitely fit some slim fans in there.
Yeah.
There is enough room, but normal fans at a 24, 25 mil, just not a chance.
The ones they provide are just a little too thick.
Yeah. Right. So fan blows against the solid panel. No, there is ventilation. Let's have a look. Let's do the other side first because it doesn't look that exciting on that side. Ow. Right. So that side, this one, right?
Yes.
So that goes
180 degrees.
that way. Yeah. So we have ventilation here for the graphics card that's pulling in cool air. That goes like that, pushes down, and screws on. So we have ventilation. And then we have this panel as well. Ah, I've done it again, haven't I? I've screwed in things that don't need to be screwed in yet.
Did they not?
No.
Oh, yeah. You put the 2 screws in for the...
No, of course not. I think I've put these screws in and taken them out now about 7 times. But who's counting?
You, apparently.
Right. Let's do that one. And that one. Then, so it's always fun when you don't read instruction manuals. Right, that doesn't go on anyway, does it? It's just, it is what it is. Yeah? We happy with that?
Yep, happy with that.
I'm happy with that. So you got the founders for £1,269, yeah?
Plus like £8 shipping.
Wow, they actually charge you shipping on top. And that was direct from NVIDIA.
Yes.
Yeah.
But through Scan, they fulfill it.
Yeah. Is it actually in stock then, or?
Not anymore.
No, but was it like in stock, or does it say shipping at some point when it is available?
I refreshed on like the 2 o'clock mark. It went from out of stock to in stock, and half an hour later, it was no longer in stock.
Oh, okay.
It should arrive on Saturday.
Other way. Oh, okay. Happy days. Right, this is on. So we have ventilation here for our graphics card. And then we have another panel. That has screws as well, actually.
That you are going to need to take the panel off for.
No, this one only had them on this side.
I just saw them on there.
No, you didn't.
I did. I mean, no, I didn't.
Yeah, see? I don't even know where them screws are, to be fair. They're probably in... I've probably installed it. Right. Do a TT build video review. Might go smoother. I don't know. I've worked with TT stuff. I've had it go both ways. Right. Let's try and get that 24-pin cable out of the way.
It's a neat looking power supply.
It's tiny, isn't it? So, on that side, yeah, we have more ventilation. So, ventilation for the processor and ventilation for the graphics card. So, yeah, not bad at all. That is tight with the power supply. Huzzah, we've done it. It's heavy now.
Very clean looking. You can see the card in there.
Can you? Yeah. Yeah, no, if that cooler looked better, then happy days. But yeah, you can see the card. It's upside down, isn't it? Yeah. You'd have to have it that way if you wanted to see the 4080 bit, but you know, it is what it is. Right. Let's see if it turns on.
Part of what they advertise for this case is its flexibility of how you can have it.
Yeah, because you've got mounting holes here, which is for the feet. You've also got... Oh, no, you don't have them that side. So it is meant to go up that way. Yeah, with the USB and that at the top. It's definitely being pushed out ever so slightly by that power supply. But I reckon you could change that, just shift it a little bit within the screw bit. Oh, I'm tired now. Double vented panel is fan side. Back of the motherboard doesn't have a vent. No, back of the motherboard doesn't, but you'd like to think with heat rising, you have got ventilation along the top here. So, you know, could work. Could work. Right. What do we need? Kettle lead?
Yep. Go on in.
Kettle lead, and then we're good to go. Yeah. We'll turn the monitor around so you guys can see as well.
Do you need me to go grab any drivers or anything?
It should be okay. Should be okay. Famous last words.
You
Cool.
take that end. I'll just plug it in down here.
It's up here.
We're plugged in.
I heard a crackle, so... I mean, it's alive.
GPU's lit.
We have some RGB.
It's lit, fam.
It is lit. Is the monitor on? This is where it's all gone horribly wrong. No, it's calmed down, so it's doing something. Why have I not got any power?
Unplug it and plug it back in, I guess.
Maybe.
Oh, it was there for a sec.
Put it back in.
I think the power cable was a little bit wonky.
Oh, okay. It says pixel.
The casing's not on properly.
What's it doing? Yeah, it's quite a cheap monitor, to be fair. Entering power saving. Why? Why is it entering power saving?
Could be our cable.
Could be. I want to say it's not my build. You know, for reasons. Let's try it again. Yeah, it is a clean build. I'm liking the way that it turned out. I mean, you wouldn't know that there's a i9 and a 30... I still say 30. 4080 inside.
It's not natural yet.
No. 2 seconds before you do that. I think it might be this monitor.
Your keyboard's lit.
Let's come up pixel again. So I turned it off and now it's back on. Some of these monitors struggle, don't they, to go into BIOS because like they boot, the system boots too quick. Yeah, no signal.
These are the ones that we found were better for it though.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Let's try HDMI.
it's a different brand. I'm not going to name
10 or 11 install. Yeah, we're going to put Windows 11 on it. 21H2.
That's in.
Okay, let's take that one out.
Yeah.
Let's give it another go. How close is the black on the ISO matching the case? It's almost there. What do you say?
I can't tell from here. There's a load of glare on the screen.
Have a look at the... No, but actually looking at it. Yeah?
Like on the...
The black on the IO
Oh, right.
compared to the black of the case.
I heard ISO and I was thinking about camera. It's pretty close. It's just like
Yeah.
different material.
Yeah.
So you get a slightly different
Yeah,
image.
Yeah. I just wish it would boot. That's the issue we got at the moment, but I think it's the monitor. I really, really do.
Oh,
There we go. We have life.
so it's this cable.
So we'll do some testing on the cable at some point.
Alright, I'll keep it out there.
Okay, where are we at? Motherboard temperature 29. CPU is at 54. But that's not completely uncommon for what I've seen before. I mean, the CPU fan's only running at 1200 RPM. It's not a loud system at all. Like, I can't hear anything really. Yeah, when it first boots and that, but then yeah, it's fine after that. We have got Windows 11. Is it showing both our drives? Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus, Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus. So yeah, we have 8 terabytes. I'm thinking I might raid them. So we have just one 8 terabyte drive. Yeah, we'll leave the fan stuff at the moment. Boot.
Is that power cable long enough to get the PC turned around so everyone at home can get a nice view of the front?
I mean, you can't really see much other than a single light, but we can try.
It's nicer.
It does look nicer, yeah. There you go, that's what it looks like when it's turned on. So we have a single light. That means I can now put this in.
I was thinking about it.
Let's put XMP on. So we've got our memory run at 6800. Right, let's get Windows installed. So yeah, was definitely an issue with our DisplayPort cable. So yeah, I did say this live stream was going to be about 2 hours or so, so we're almost there. Hour and 45 minutes.
There's no games or anything to test.
We can just take them off the drive.
Yeah. What game are you thinking?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Alright.
Okay, we have a Windows logo. Don't know if you guys can see this that well.
No, that's what I came over here to look at.
I don't know how well you guys can see the screen. It's really hard filming screens. They, reflect and stuff like that, and some are more contrasty than others. Yeah, like I can barely see anything there, but we're muddle on through. We did have, I think it was the Corsair Xeneon screen was like the best.
But that's up there.
It is up there, yeah. So that doesn't really help. The NZXT ones probably get none of them. No, I want to do 4K. Like you're not going to build a system like this and not do 4K. Right, Windows 11 Pro. I agree. Custom. Oh, I didn't do the RAID thing, damn it. I put IRST on, but I didn't actually do anything with it. Let's try that again. Just about see the blue logo. It's the screen, it's just not great at showing anything on camera. It's just, it's not bright enough, basically. That's where you need a full-on HDR screen that's so much brighter. I'm looking up there because there's a lot of monitors up on a shelf, but none of them are 4K, I don't think. Right, what have we got? Let's turn that off, go to that. Boot.
Sort the drive out. Call of Duty.
Yeah, just literally, bring it in and we'll sort that out. Yeah, I'm just going to keep them as two separate drives at the moment. I'm back, had to pick daughter up from school. Welcome back. Yeah, I wish I had a brighter monitor. Sadly, I haven't got one that's like freely available. So we're going to boot it up though, and I'll try and turn it around, maybe even turn the lights down a little bit so you guys can see exactly what's going on. Might even be able to. Is it any better as I do that, or is it just? Yeah, it's just not bright enough. That is the problem. So yeah, I'll try turning down the studio lights so you guys can see in a bit. When we come to doing testing, which shouldn't be that long because we've got some fast stuff in here, so we should be able to get things done quite quickly. So we've got our two 4 terabyte drives. Let's just stick it onto the first one. Let's say we could RAID them. If I wanted to do RAID properly, it's going to take a little while to actually build up the array, and yeah, want to try and get this done kind of fairly quickly. Welshie, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Means I can buy a coffee tomorrow, or part of a coffee. No, I honestly, appreciate the super chats. Goes towards the eTeknix Christmas party. Who knows? Maybe I'll even live stream some of that. Not on this channel. I'll do it on. So for anyone who doesn't know, who's not a Patreon, we do have a behind the scenes YouTube channel. So we post, quite a few bits and bobs on there. Like I say, we are looking at doing Patreon live streams. So more of this, but directly kind of, answering Patreon questions and things like that. As well as doing Q&A videos. We're looking at doing in the future as well. And just so much more other pieces of content. So yeah, if you want to join Patreon, patreon.com/eTeknix, and you can support us through that. Right, getting files ready for installation, 98%. Nearly installed Windows. And luckily we have used a tool that means our install, we haven't got to go through all of the configuration when you first set up Windows. all the questions about do you want to allow Microsoft to do this and do that and do this and do that. So yeah, it shouldn't take too long to sort out. Then it's just a matter of getting Steam on here. I'm thinking we'll put Call of Duty Modern Warfare on. We'll give it a little benchmark, look at the temperatures as well, and yeah, go from there. Right, booting Windows. So yeah, I think this build went as well as it physically could have. There was a few little niggly things, but all good. The old clickbait king again. Not even sure how that's a thing. I mean, there's nothing clickbait about this video at all. It is the ultimate sleeper build. This has got an i9-13900K and an RTX 4080 in it. So yeah, literally the parts that were in the thumbnail. Right, it is booting. So yeah, just waiting for Brandon to come back in with Call of Duty. We need to install graphics card driver, and then yeah, we're pretty much good to go. What is the most frustrating thing about YouTube? Thank you very much for the super chat. Most frustrating thing about YouTube? It's probably two aspects of it actually. The first being sort of the fact that, you know, you put a lot of effort into videos that you think are going to do well and they don't do well. And then the other thing is some of the people and the comments and the trolls and stuff like that. But yeah, what are you going to do? Right, we have no internet, so we do need a network cable, which I'm hoping Brandon is going to be able to bring me. I need an Ethernet cable. It doesn't pick up the Wi-Fi straight away for some weird reason. Yeah, we will need drivers, but it's just easy. Ethernet should just work straight away.
We don't really have a cable long enough, so I put the Wi-Fi drivers on this for you.
Oh, okay. That will work then. Thank you. So yeah, I was saying earlier about the external SSD. This is what we use, and we just put an SSD in it, and it just changes. So I don't have internet. So there we go. Excellent response. Thank you very much. Alex, how are we doing? Yeah, someone came in. The old clickbait king again. When we're doing a video on the ultimate sleeper build. I mean, it looks like a sleeper. Inside is pretty damn ultimate. And all of the parts I've used were in the thumbnail. So I'm not even sure how that works. £1,600 for an RTX 4080. What did you... So Brandon bought one and he paid today, but he paid 1,269. So isn't that for an NVMe drive? This is. So yeah, this literally, we can just take an NVMe drive out, put another one in, but it works really, really well. And has no degradation in terms of when we do our gaming benchmarks and things like that, we have to make sure that if we are running off an external device that we don't see FPS drops, as it has to be basically the same performance as if we were using a drive that was inside the system. We are looking at changing that a little bit. What we're going to be doing is building a NAS, which will have 10 20 terabyte hard drives in it and running it across 10 GBE. So any computer in the whole office or studio will be able to access it at blistering fast speeds with no bottlenecks whatsoever. So, well, she said, Brandon, why? Because he fell in love with the 4080, namely the Founders Edition was what you fell in love with, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, he fell in love with the Founders Edition and just decided he's having it no matter what. So yeah, about 1,800 euros for a 4080 in Sweden. Jesus. I know it's worse in Europe in terms of like hardware prices and things like that. But yeah, he just paid £1,269.
And then like 7 for shipping on top.
Yeah. Right, that is done. So drivers are on here. Put that into the 20 gigabit slot.
Honestly, given the performance, it's not really that awful.
No. Intel, extract all. Maybe get a pre-installed stock Windows SSD for both AMD and Intel. So we used to do that. The problem is when you go chipset to chipset and things like that, it does make a huge difference. So yeah, we decided against it. Can you do me a favor? Turn that light off. I want to see if this screen, people can see it better with the light off. And that one. And that one. Let's just sit in the dark.
How romantic.
Yeah. Okay, you can see the screen a bit better. I'm just wondering if I can turn the brightness up.
It's so moody in here now.
Brightness contrast.
I mean, it's not at a great angle for the camera.
It's not. Does it get any better?
Can't really tell.
Yeah, that's getting better. I think that's about as best as I can get it. And then, yeah, we'll turn it at a slight angle. Didn't really think through where I was actually going to stand and do this and whatnot, but you know, we're persevering. Really need a better screen to use. Right, did that install? It says available. We have internet. So yeah, hopefully you guys can see it a little bit better now. Just let me know, is that any better at actually seeing the screen? If it's not, then it's not, but if it is, then happy days. Right, let's get Steam, get Call of Duty on here. It's just some cheap Pixel monitor. Trying to think, what's the best 4K monitor we've got? None of them up there are 4K, are they?
We have Philips ones.
I don't even know if they're much brighter. Need like a proper gaming 1600 nits or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I think the canvas ones.
Keyboard LED is brighter than the monitor. I know, it's crazy. Now I can make out Windows pick. Okay, happy days. So we're all good then? You can't see the monitor. Like I say, we will learn from these live streams and make them better in the future. We also need HW monitor. I don't know if the stream's gone all blocky or if that's just me. I've got one idea to try in a minute. Do me a favour, carry on installing that and log into Steam.
On the... Let's just call it the eTeknix account.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Oh, this is hard to see. Where's the download? Did you download it?
Yeah.
Where?
See if that's any better. Yeah, that maybe added some grain. I just like tried tweaking the camera.
Oh, you've got Steam, you haven't got HW monitor.
Oh no, I didn't download that yet. Clicks out. Is that any better to see people?
Doesn't show. Yeah, cool. Doesn't show anything.
There we go. Right, hopefully then they can see a bit better now. Let me see if this makes a difference.
Oh, would you look at that?
Oh, really? Ah, that's really annoying. Hopefully that's a lot better.
Love this
Right.
new thing that Steam does.
Yeah, I know. Keep entertained. I'll be back.
Have you not got it on your phone?
No, I have to. 2 seconds.
He's gone to get the code for Steam, so I'm my stream now. I don't know what to do. I've never had to stream on my own. How are you all doing at home today? How are you doing? This latency is causing an issue. I want to talk to you guys, but you haven't had time to hear me. And then the comments have to come through. God, this is complicated, isn't it? This stream has now developed into waiting for Andy. You know, I'm just going to quickly defend my choice to get a 4080. Oh, hello again.
Hello.
I was just about to defend my choice of getting a 4080.
Ah, okay. Don't get them started. 6p. No. Got the 6.
Numlock's not on.
GNY. So, can people see the screen properly now, or is it still a bit out of focus? That's probably worse, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a load of glare now.
Yeah. Oh, we'll leave that off.
Yeah, my reasoning though. DLSS 3.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
No,
just
I
fantastic.
Agree. I agree.
Especially with Portal RTX coming up.
Do me a favour, zoom in on the lens.
Yes. How much not zoomed in?
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. All the way till you can get all the monitoring. Yeah, that should work. No, we can't get one free. I don't even get one free. I mean, I've got one here, but obviously we have to use it for different things. So, right, Call of Duty's on that drive, yeah? Call of Duty on that drive?
Yeah. No, it's on the root of the drive.
No, it's there.
Why is there a Call of Duty folder in the root of the drive?
Was it? That's Modern Warfare. I have no idea. Not got a clue. Right, let's try and install this.
Hopefully there's enough space on the drive.
There is not. Right, I've got an idea. I can fix this. It's not the end of the world. Where is it? There. Steam. Right, copy that onto there. There you go. Right. Could probably fit in the prison pocket. Everything Andy gets is for reviews and nothing is free. Exactly that. So yeah, can you guys see the monitor a lot better now? Like I say, next live stream we will aim to make this, you know, much easier. I also need driver, don't I?
I will learn that one day.
Is it that?
Is it not Tom?
Oh yeah. Yep, got it.
I mean, you told me why it's called Tom, but I'm just gonna go with the. I'm just gonna go with my own official canon that that's what we called the NAS.
Yeah. The NAS is called Tom. Right, so we're transferring COD and everything else. What's the box right there? This is actually a PC. Oh, that is a little bit toasty. I'll give it that. Yeah. It is a bit warm. If it can be brighter, then that would be great. So the monitor is literally as bright as it physically can be at this moment in time. So we need a better 4K monitor that can do HDR over 1,000 nits. And that's what we get for the next live stream. So yeah, there's no issue or anything there. How warm is it down there? Okay, that's
It's
cool that side. Yeah. Obviously the processor's at the top.
Yeah.
That's all I'm thinking. Did you install HW monitor?
Yes.
Okay. Should we have a look at the temperatures and see what it's doing? Can that zoom in anymore? The lens. Like all the way?
That's as far as it goes.
Yep, that'll do. Right, I don't know how well you guys can see this. I'm struggling myself. So, temperatures.
I can see it quite well.
Temperatures. Okay, we are at 68 degrees on the CPU core. Not gonna lie, it's a bit warm.
It did max out at 100.
100. Yep. What about the GPU? Let's have a look.
This isn't about practicality, is it?
No, 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 not at all. I mean, you would never put an i9-13900K.
In this.
No, it's not going to find a GPU yet because I haven't got drivers yet.
Oh, that makes sense.
So we can close that, close that, close that. Call of Duty apparently is updating. That's not right.
Then it must have been the other
The
file.
other file, yeah.
Got the driver there, though.
There. Alright, it might not be able to run COD then, just because it's being a bit...
Coddish.
Yeah, can you do this? It's just easier, you're that side of the desk, so... it looks like a speaker. Yes, it is actually a PC though. This whole panel comes off, and yeah, there's the power supply. There's a 4080 in here and a 13900K. So like a full-on mega build. It's running warm though, I'll give it that.
At idle.
Yeah.
It's not even that hot in this.
Surely Azus would send you one for live streams and that. I'd have to speak to him. Azus, if you are still on this live stream, send me a nice monitor that we can use. James, how we doing? Request a new Asus 360Hz monitor. Yeah, that'd be nice. I don't think we'd ever really get the use out of it though, because I don't really get a chance to game, especially at the office. So it's kind of a little bit wasted, I guess.
I mean, it would help my eyes when testing.
Mm.
Because at 4K, these monitors are only 30.
Yes.
So that does get a little bit...
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Those 140mm slim fans and a few 80mm fans behind it. Yeah, so you can actually put 80mm fans in at the top, which would definitely, I mean, just feeling the heat from this would definitely make a huge, huge difference. Real Ultimate would be fully water cooled, maybe for next time. I don't think I'd... It would involve some modding, definitely, but it could be done. That's for sure. Spider-Man on there?
I think Spider-Man's on the other drive.
Oh, okay. What can we run that's Cyberpunk on there?
Yeah, Cyberpunk's on there.
Yeah, do Cyberpunk. Let's do Cyberpunk. Let's really put it to the stress. Is HW monitor still open, yeah? Okay. We're going to have to close it and then reopen it to get the graphics driver.
Yeah, I was seeing if there was like a refresh button or something.
No. So yeah, like I say, this build just isn't for the faint-hearted. You wouldn't put a 13900K with a 4080 in this, but I did, so kind of here it is. Is it showing up now?
Yes, it is. I'm just...
So now we just want to monitor temperatures, which the GPU is currently at 32.9 degrees.
That's not bad.
The CPU is at 58. It's not the end of the world.
No.
Like, it's warmer as you'd expect, but it's not, you know, you could adjust the fan curve to bring that down slightly.
It's about to be the end of the world.
Go on then, let's run Cyberpunk.
Wait, how are we doing this? You've got the keyboard over there.
I'll give you the keyboard. There you go.
True gamer. Right?
Next live stream when AMD GPUs come out, Ultimate, AMD fully water cooled. Yeah, we could do something there.
Come on, Cyberpunk.
I feel like there's ventilation on the bottom as well. I do feel
the stand would help.
the stand would help. Like, I'm not going to bolt it to it, but if we just to give it a little bit more airflow, then yeah, I think we're good. Cyberpunk.
Yeah, access, whatever. What are you thinking for settings and resolution on this? 4K, obviously.
4K.
Ultra ray tracing?
Yeah, DLSS 3. We'd have to beta mode it, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not bother with that. Yeah, just 4K, DLSS, ray tracing, all of the good stuff.
If you want to know how this card performs in DLSS 3 Cyberpunk, check out our video.
Are you using resize bar? Yes, it's enabled by default on Z790 and by default on the 4080. It's there, you don't have to flash your BIOS or anything like that.
What should we go with? Quality, performance?
Performance, yeah.
Alright.
Happy with that. So we're running Cyberpunk on...
It was the Ray Tracing Ultra preset.
Ray Tracing Ultra preset. And we're doing this at 4K.
I'll just go from anywhere, I guess.
Giving away his beard trimmings. They're my beard trimmings. You can't have them. But no, I'm not giving anything away. Press space. There we go. Cyberpunk at 4K. Apologies that it's not the clearest picture in the world.
Let's
I'm gonna
settings.
bring that over slightly. Can you bring up the brightness in game?
I think so. Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly get a FPS counter going
Okay.
so we can let the lovely people know how we're running.
Yeah, bring up the brightness in game as well.
Settings, graphics, I believe.
Probably be under video.
Might be on a video. HDR none. I think.
Is there no brightness at all in the game?
Graphics. I've just missed it, but
Field of view. Motion blur, no.
oh, gamma.
Oh yeah, that'll do.
Well, that didn't help. Oh, that might be a bit too much.
I mean, it looks better.
Probably want a bit of a sweet spot somewhere between. That look good?
Yeah, give that a go. Yeah, DLSS accessory we wanted to run, but then we'd have to put it into beta mode and then do all of that, and yeah, again takes a little bit of time.
But even still, this is running at the Ray Tracing Ultra preset at 4K, only with standard DLSS on, and we're getting like 80 frames a second right now.
It's not bad, is it? Not bad at all. I mean, it looks decent. So yeah, not bad at all.
See those
Yeah, the reflections on the cars from the sun and stuff is just out of this world.
shadows?
Yeah, looks great.
This man.
This is warm. I'll give it that.
I can hear it now.
Yeah, it's audible, but I'd say it's no more audible than what you'd have any other type of system.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting, currently in this scene I'm looking at right now, we're at 93, 94 frames a second, and that's pretty damn gorgeous.
And that, I mean, if you're playing a game in that, you're going to have headphones on. This noise isn't going to bother you
No, I don't know.
at all. No. Is Cyberpunk worth buying now? I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Deck, in the other room, he's started his second playthrough.
Yeah, and he's running on like a old R9 380X or something like that, I think
If
it
you
is.
want to know the exact specs of his build, you can see it in a PC Clean video.
Yeah, I remember that video. That was awful. Right, let's Alt F4 that and see what temperatures we got.
The video wasn't awful, just the PC.
So temperatures, we did get up to 100 degrees on the CPU. But again, it just means it's going to thermal throttle, but it didn't affect our frame rate.
That GPU max, though,
What was the GPU max? 67?
it's all that open ventilation, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So this case, obviously having ventilation down the bottom. I can feel the ventilation on that side. Yeah. Not bad at all. So 67 degrees on the GPU. The CPU, being a 13900K, did get up to 100 degrees, which does mean that it thermal throttled, but the FPS was great.
Put
It-
like
it didn't dip.
700, and that might even...
I reckon 13600K in here with that cooler, or maybe something slightly better. Some 80mm fans at the top.
Slim fan.
The slim-
next to the card.
Yeah, and I think you'd get your CPU under control. To be fair, I reckon you could run the 13900K with some of that cooling, and it would be absolutely fine.
It's not like... It doesn't... Obviously, I've never actually seen a PlayStation 5 in person, but it doesn't seem that dissimilar in size.
No. And if you want to find out more about this case, look at the Fractal Ridge. We will put the link potentially in the YouTube description for anyone kind of re-watching this after the live stream ends. So, yeah, all good. And that about wraps this up. I said it was going to be a couple of hour long video. So here we are, the Fractal Ridge, the ultimate sleeper build. You wouldn't expect that this has got the parts in it that are in it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, for anyone who hasn't seen, this is the build. Full on sleeper. And inside is this.
Let's get a little bit of a zoom.
the i9 13900K. We've got 32 gig of 6800 megahertz memory. We've got 8 terabytes worth of storage, an 850 watt Platinum SFXL power supply, and an RTX 4080.
Which is really nicely displayed right now.
Yeah, it does look nice there. So there you have it. There you have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. And thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. We will look to potentially do more live streams in the future. And we're definitely working on getting a better monitor that you guys can see a lot more clearly, should we say. So yeah. Farmer True VR, thank you very much. I appreciate the nice comments. Love your uploaded videos. Thank you for all the detailed content anytime. And yeah, if anyone wants to join our Discord, the link is somewhere up higher in the chat, but it is discord.gg/eTeknix. And if you want to support us, you can do so over on Patreon, patreon.com/eTeknix. And yeah, if you want to buy any of our cool merch, like the eTeknix smart thermos with the display that tells you the temperature on top, available over on store.eteknix.com. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. We have got a video coming up in the next couple of days, 13900K versus 7950X, the ultimate showdown. And yeah, we'll have a lot more content based around that. So there you have it. Cheers, guys. Say goodbye, Brandon.
Bye, everyone.
All right, see you in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye-bye. Going to buy a thermos.